Well, no hyperbole here. It's official. No one wants the Ford Mustang Mach-E. Ford are making lots of them. Production has increased by 134%. Sales are down 44%. Only 1 in every 3 Mustang Mach-E's that were produced this year actually found a new home. Well, this is a little bit alarming. Seriously, Ford are making a fair few Mustang Mach-E's and no one's buying them. I mean, literally, if you look at the sales charts, the Mustang Mach-E is a complete flop, but it's not for lack of production. Ford has ramped production over the past couple of months, and, well, like I said, no one is buying them. This is a big problem for Ford because they've just reduced the price, and still the demand just isn't there. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans. Great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. I'm a little bit disappointed about this. No, I'm not. I'm really disappointed because Ford's EV sales in the month of May were utterly abysmal. For the Ford Motor Company, 5,000 electric vehicles. Now, that's not just the Mustang Mach-E, by the way. That's a combination of all Ford electric car sales in North America. 5,400. This is just a joke. I mean, when is it that Ford are going to start ramping production and start taking electric cars seriously? I keep hearing Jim Farley say that they will. We're hearing Elon Musk praise Ford, saying they've got the right strategy because of what they're saying. Yes, but not what they're actually doing. I mean, what is going on here? If you think I'm actually exaggerating, I'm absolutely not. These sales numbers are, well, they're shocking. The reality here is the Mach-E, in terms of actual sales, is a complete pancake. It's an utter disaster. Now, I predicted this. You guys predicted this when we saw the price of the Model Y. When Tesla reduced the price this year in the US, we knew that Mach-E sales would be affected, and they have been. They are literally, like half of what they were last year. However, if you look at what Ford is producing, Ford over the past 2 months, over April and May, they produced twice as many cars as they did last year, as in they've manufactured twice as many and they've sold half as many. In other words, Ford has to have significant inventory right now of the Mach-E. This is quite a contrast to Ford's gasoline-powered business. In May, total sales of Ford and Lincoln vehicles in the US increased by 10.7% year over year to 171,000. After the first 5 months of the year, the group sold 830,840 vehicles. That's an increase of 8.8% year over year. That's a pretty good result. This is sort of helping to offset Ford's loss of sales in China, where their sales are down by about 30%. It's not really offsetting it. It's just helping a little bit. So as you can see, that really there's some big issues here for Ford. Electric car sales, they're just shockingly low, and then they're losing their market share in China. But Ford are not the only ones. We can't just say this is just Ford here. This is basically all legacy automakers are getting their butts kicked in China. We all knew this would happen. It was just a matter of time. Ford battery electric vehicle sales in May were 5,444. That is 13% less than a year ago. Now, Ford probably would have a lot more sales than that because they would have sold a lot more Ford F-150 Lightning pickup trucks. The Lightning pickup truck still has a lot of reservations that Ford haven't delivered on. I think probably more than 100,000 from the numbers that I've seen. So Ford could sell a lot of those if it could make them, but it hasn't been able to. Why? It shut down production because of the battery fires. There was a few battery issues. Ford stopped production, and then they figured out what the issues were, and they just restarted production. So that's part of the reason why Ford's EV sales were low. But the truth is here that it seems to be an ongoing problem. It doesn't matter what month it is. It seems as though there's always some kind of excuse for Ford to not be selling EVs or not to be producing enough EVs, or, well, in the case of the Mustang Mach-E here, just to not be selling them, period. And the surprising thing is here, this is actually a significant increase for Ford versus the last few months. In March, Ford sold 2,100 electric cars, unbelievably low. In April, it was 3,500. In May, 5,400. The only thing is, there are unknown small Chinese electric car companies selling more vehicles than that basically in a week. I mean, these numbers are really pretty disappointing. Mach-E sales, 2,917, down 44% year over year. Ford F-150 Lightning sales up 750% year over year to 1,707. Ford E-Transit, surprisingly down 6% year over year for only 820. So far this year, Ford has sold 20,000 electric vehicles in 5 months. In total, that's 6% more than a year ago. They're barely ramping up. At this pace, it's going to take them about 50 years to get to half of their cars being electric. That's about 2.5% of the brand's total volume. 2.5% are fully electric. This year, Mach-E sales are down 40% on what they were at this point last year. Ford Mustang Mach-E sales, 9,930. So for the first 5 months of the year, they're down nearly 40% versus the first 5 months of last year. Ford has sold 7,333 F-150 Lightnings in the first 5 months of the year, and E-Transits, they've sold 2,546, which is an increase of 4%. Now, to give you some context here, Ford didn't do too badly last year of the first 5 months. They doubled their EV sales to 61,575,000 for the entirety of 2022. That was 3.5% of Ford's volume. So Ford have gone from 3.5% EV volume last year to 2.5% this year. Yeah, I mean, they need that battery factory real fast. They need these new EV factories real fast because this is very concerning. I think Ford's investors should be concerned. I mean, the biggest concern here is not necessarily the fact that they're not producing enough EVs, I mean F-150s, because they'll ramp production again now that they've restarted production. The biggest concern in my view is the very strong lack of demand for the Mach-E, which is very affordably priced. I mean, after Ford reduced the price, Jim Farley said they wouldn't do that. No, we won't react to Tesla's price changes. They did. And still, they're not selling very many of them. And it's actually really, really bad when you put it this way, right? The Mach-E is cheaper now than what it was a year ago. But in May last year, Ford sold a lot more of them. Sales decreased by 44% year over year to only 2,917. Now, Ford will probably say something like, well, the slowdown is somehow related to the plant upgrade conducted in January and February. It's not actually true. From what I can tell, at least 15,000 in stock, as in just sitting in dealerships right now. So Ford's production of the Mach-E is well and truly outstripping their sales figures. And this is a far greater problem than what Tesla is facing with the Model Y. You can clearly see Ford have a lot more inventory versus actual sales than Tesla do for the Model Y. And here's some context on that. The production of the Mustang Mach-E in Mexico has reached a new record, 13,640 in May. That's an increase of 127% year over year. So production has increased by 127% year over year. Sales are down 44% year over year. Those figures are drastically different to one another. And when you consider the fact that now the price is cheaper, and the car qualifies for EV incentives that it didn't last year. Basically, you can get a Mach-E now for probably around $10,000 less than you could a year ago. If you include the value of inflation, it's probably more like $15,000, yes, less than what it was a year ago. And this is what's happened, right? Production skyrockets, sales basically just fall through the floor. This is how bad it is. Ford have produced 33,500 Mach-E's this year. They've sold 9,930. One in every three has actually got a new buyer. Guys, the Mach-E is actually it's not the best EV, but it's actually pretty decent. But people just don't want them. Let me know your thoughts on this. Why is this happening? Have you tested a Mach-E? Have you come away and thought, no, I don't want that? Or is there a reason people aren't buying the Mach-E that I don't know about? Obviously we know the Model Y is actually just a little bit more affordable if you compare it spec for spec, range for range. Model Y would definitely be affecting it, but still, there's got to be quite a few Ford fans out there that want a Mach-E. Ford fans, what is going on? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.